Hey everybody, it's about 8:30 on Friday, January 6th. The is it the 3-year anniversary of the storming of the Capitol? Um, so I wanted to make a video. I mean, I know why I want to make a video because I'm being tortured. And I'm making headway with the magnets, but it's a lot of obsessive upkeep, and my attackers are tricking me, so I'm not exactly sure. I know I got one big one in my sternum, but I'm questionable, like in my colon under the sternum here. I feel like I have one, and so that'd be two, and then I'm questionable about my teeth and my ears. But I'm using the magnets. They can just, it's like I was neglecting. I'm trying to think what spot I was neglecting, but I was neglecting, I think, putting the magnets on the side of my teeth for a while, and I was focusing on my sternum and my stomach, um, I think, and then they got me riled up right with the remote neural manipulation. I was yelling at the V2K like yesterday, so they can really still amp up my mind. It's a like it's getting me more energy to keep moving and figure out new solutions. It's not the ultimate taking it down thing, which I was hoping. The face hugger, like when I made my last video, like around New Year's, maybe they didn't have as many people on shift or something, or they didn't have people running, helping with running the biometrics at the same time. I don't know how they work, but like New Year's Day was pretty good. It's like I had just started putting it on my sternum, and like I felt like boom, I didn't feel bodily pain anywhere. Still could hear the B2K a little bit, and they could still mess with my emotions and stuff like that. But then it's like a couple of days went by. I think I neglected to be putting it there, and they amped me up. But now I've got it kind of back down. There's a couple of places that may not even be biometrics, but they're like your stomach area. My stomach area have like leads that go through all the way from my trachea or my esophagus all the way down, like to my past my stomach, and it's like directed energy. There's like a big lead that goes down there, and like right in the middle, like where my belly button is. Yeah, I put the magnet there, and it'll like beat that place will pulse, and like my shoulder will pulse, and I'll get relief. But I'm not sure if it's just the lead that the directed energy is going through, and I'm getting that right, or if it's an actual pumper. And how many pumpers? I know I got pumpers in my body, biometrics that actually pump the EMF. I'm just not. I know one for sure, 100%. Don't know how big it is, and it seems to be like a strip or something like that. It's long in my esophagus, and it makes me, y'all hear that? Like I can get it to where I'm not, where they can't create that reflex, but it's somewhere in there. So I have the magnet on here right now. I guess I just wanted to talk about everything. I kind of wanted to babble a little bit, um, because it's been negative, for the past couple of days. But like y'all know me. This is true. I will always trust in God. Like even this sucks. This secularly, like my and I was trying to figure it out. I was like, okay, it feels like they're almost off of me sometimes. They haven't. When I started putting it on the sternum, I don't feel like there's any time where they brought me close to death, where I felt like I could have an aneurysm or something. Here's another thing. So, me talking about this in detail, this is trouble because then my attackers go harder, right? So, this making the videos plays into all of my targeting and all the protocols and what they can justify, right? What they can justify to hurt us. It's so ridiculous. Being murdered and like attempted murder every day. It's better for me, so I'm thankful. I'm thankful, and I want to thank God for that. It's just a horrible situation, like the communism in our country, and if you are a target, it's like your life. Just you can't do anything. They've got every angle covered. I was thinking today, I was like, and I'm kind of bouncing around on topics, but I really want to say this. I was just thinking today, like, wow, if if it was just physical torture for 10 years, well, my mind's very strong and willful, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I'd still be cracking jokes, kind of, and I'm gonna crack some jokes. Oh, we're gonna crack some jokes. We're gonna be funny. We are gonna be funny because we've gone through so much tragedy, and tragedy plus time equals comedy. Um, but it's like if they were just torturing my body, my brain could take that, but they deal with the brain too. They're mind controlling that, and I was like, well, if they were torturing my body and they were messing with my brain, but then the gang stalking didn't exist, where they were like setting me up with like everybody that I walk in to the city, like every gang stalking situation, then it would be okay because I'd know that I could trust people, and I'd be more comfortable. It wouldn't feed the mind control and stuff like that. It wouldn't feed the pain and feed the isolation stuff. It's like they've got everything. It's like anything where it was like if I just had this, it wouldn't be so bad. They cover everything to wipe out a person. Science, right? Science, just like that, just like the because I think I want to put this on YouTube. Um, I know things are so hard. I think things are like reversed. So I'm like a really good person. And, the strength from God is a blessing, and the healing from God is a blessing. But the way things are going with the targeting and like everything going wrong, and not being able to do the things that I want to do in life, it's bad. It's bad luck, right? Bad luck. It looks like bad luck, but it's like somebody targeting you 24 hours a day and setting you up 24 hours a day. Um, that's I feel like if you're a good person in this society right now, you probably get, even if you're not targeted like 24 hours a day, you're probably not having a good time right now if you're a good person. And I feel like if you're a criminal and you're watching this, you're probably having a good time, probably making some money. You probably got a group that you're doing crime with and stuff like that. Want to remind everybody, my attackers and everybody's attackers that are remote neural monitoring and surveilling to target individuals on this, you're destroying your country, whatever country you live in, you're destroying your country. You're bringing in communism. You're not going to have anything because a society cannot keep going based on crime. So you're getting what you want and stuff like that right now, but the society will fall. You won't have any of that. It won't be worth anything because the society where the money is won't be worth anything. So I just want to remind, and I want to remind people that are gang stalking or microwave attackers that you're building a culture where rape and torture of sleeping children and sleeping people will become normalized. It will be like I say this to my V2K, like I'll say things to them like this is high treason, and you're doing it to a good person who didn't do any crimes, who like blah blah. I'll give them all the reasons why what they're doing is crime. And the dude on the B2K goes, we've heard that all before. It's getting old. Like, so he's blasé. Like, we're in the midst of a torture rape where they're raping me with electronic warfare, and the dude's like, it's getting old, right? That's the scary type of stuff when he's like, the whole time at the beginning, oh, we better be careful and just we're torturing and ringing in the ears and messing with this stuff. But, now to all the way up to normalizing, like, let's go ahead and finish him off, which he's saying this morning. He's like, let's go ahead and finish him off. I don't think they have the power to do it, but if I don't upkeep the magnets to what I know are the biggest ones, and I think the big mamma jamma things, I think are either teeth, the teeth and the ears. I think it's teeth. I don't think it's in my ears because I've this left ear. I'm very questionable on this left ear because I put the magnet on the left ear, and like my whole body will cool down. It's like it's stopping everything, but I know that they're using biometrics and pumping it to that inner ear to go to the brain, right? So I'm like, am I just cutting off? And then it'll kind of like the ringing will pressurize in the ear as I have the magnet there, so it's not working anything down. It's like they're pumping things in. So I don't know. Like I'm questionable about the teeth and the ears. This is one thing though that I wanted to say. I don't know what I'm going to call this video. It's just me talking. Like I want to make, like I don't know. It's hard to make videos because I get it's a lot more serious. And we're talking about like if it was just physical torture, like I make a video and they kind of cook me with the microwaves and beat me up. It's like, okay, my body can't really take it, but fine. But they do sophisticated stuff to the brain to punish me, and I'm like, shit. I'll make as many videos as I can, right? I want to fight for good, even if the world right now is punishing good and punish what do you call gifting people who do evil stuff. I still it's my nature, right? And it's what God wants me to do. And our reward is not on this earth. I think our rewards on this earth is so beautiful. I thank God for every beautiful person that He's made. I look at people now, it's weird. It's like this is an ironic thing, right? And I've always loved people, like, but I've taken them for granted. Just like there's people in the world and I get things from them and they give things to me and I love them, but you don't really think too deeply about it. But when you go through this stuff, I've realized how important. Like I see people who are like suffering from some kind of tyranny or something like that, and they're so beautiful and they have dreams, like someone like Eliza Lamb. But there's many people who aren't, you know, who haven't been killed yet, um, that they're suffering and they're so beautiful and I see the potential and the like that they're so cute and they're beautiful and they want to live their dreams and they want to do good stuff and they're pushed into a bad situation where bad things are happening to them. It really hurts. And I, I guess it's a gift to appreciate humanity, but it to appreciate humanity more. I've always appreciated humanity, but you just take things for granted. You're just kind of in it, but then you go through these kind of things, and I just realize how precious humanity is, and it's an awful time to feel that way, right? And what I mean by that is like a lot of people are dying. It's like this is like a depopulation agenda, right? And sometimes I wonder this. I don't know if I finished the thought that I had before. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. I'm making it through. The thing that I see, and I don't even appreciate this. It's almost like they erase my mind of the things that I'm doing good. But it's like I've got it to where they can't even make me feel like they're about to kill me. That was from the putting it on the sternum. So it's like they can still hurt me, but then I'm still angry about that because I kind of just want it all off, right? And it's like the worst thing, they can hurt me physically. They can still amp me up to where I'm so angry or like just feel so uncomfortable, right? Like can't get comfortable. Then I'll start working the magnets in certain places and I'll feel like, oh, okay, I'm like comfortable in my settings and I'm like focused on what I'm focusing on, but it's like a thin red line. If I'm not upkeeping that, they can make it to be like where I'm like, oh, I feel, you just have that terrible feeling where you can't enjoy anything and it's them resonating your brain. That's them taking your brain, it's resonating through your inner ears or whatever method they're using, and it's bringing you down to like a fight or flight, messing with your endocrine system where you feel like I can't enjoy things, I can't focus on things, like it's just a bad feeling. And my attackers have been like consistently hypnotizing and doing stuff to me in my sleep. And this has been for this team about 10 years, something like that, overt torture in 2011. But I've got to be grateful. I'm grateful because like right now, I feel like I'm kind of as long as the magnets, right? Um, and I kind of think of it, it got me to this place. I can't it's progressing, but I don't know. I just don't know if these things were prepared, because think about MRIs. I don't want to go into all that. I wanted to talk about this though, and this is very important because the way that this happened to me, at least when I was like 12 at Ochsner when it started, I think it started earlier, and went in there for medical care. And I do think electromagnetic frequencies gave me the autoimmune disorder that I actually had to go into Ochsner for. Then they put in a biometric, right, that basically dooms me to being set up as some kind of terrorist, but isolated first, kind of whittled down. And I still went through my life and I wasn't isolated. I had friends and everything. But at a certain point, it got bad, and I think I got isolated right before the overt torture, you know. And I think about all of you out there who are targets, who you may have been children that you just had some kind of disease, or you had some kind of sickness you had to go to the hospital for, maybe routine colonoscopies or something happened where they had to put you under. And then it's like you were set up. Like as a kid, you went to the hospital for life-saving services. They put biometrics in you and set you up. Now, disclaimer, I understand this is a multifaceted system, right? There are redundant systems, redundant things they put in our bodies. And some of you guys might not have any kind of big biometrics in. You might not have any biometrics, but you might have nanotechnology, smart OS. Like disclaimer on that. But I'm just not sure how many of what, right? What happened to me and how long I didn't know about it, how long I was like, maybe I have a biometric, but it's just tracking me or something like that. It makes, and I'm not a dumb person. I'm probably crazy now from all the torture, to be honest. Not a bad crazy, like I'm gonna kill somebody, but like the on Gremlins 2, the gremlin with the eyes that go. Woo! I'm just joking. Forgot what I was talking about. Yeah, but basically, like, I know there are lots of ways. There are redundant ways that we can be targeted. I question because the teeth thing, especially, and I see it in my dad. My dad, like, this is how my dad like looks. Like he holds his jaw out like this, and I'll notice, and I've noticed this in my younger days, in the olden days, in the younger days, he'd get angry. He'd get real angry sometimes, and it wasn't really a natural way. It didn't feel natural, and he's done that a lot recently. He had a brain injury, but I noticed that when they do it, and it seems to be like the ring in the ears will get really bad, and or maybe not. Maybe the ring in the ears won't get bad either or, and I'll get super angry, right? I'll just get super agitated and like I'm trapped like an animal, and I'll start screaming in my condo, right? It hasn't happened a lot, but they did it lately. They did it lately. Because I made that video going, oh, I'm doing so great, right? So another dilemma is like I want to praise God's miracles. Like He's giving me miracles in this, no matter what they do to me. If they kill me today, God is giving miracles and strength. And in the long run, I'm going to understand. Right now, and maybe unto my death, it'll be horrible. I hope not. I hope I can turn it around. But I've seen it. Like God, I think God gave me a gift. Maybe He's given some of you this gift, where He's done concrete things. Where He's like, son, I need you to know that I exist. I'm going to go ahead and give you something concrete because what you're going through so hard, I'm going to need to help you with it. So you're not even going to have a choice in believing about me. Does some of y'all feel like that? Because I feel like that. I feel like some people maybe they don't have to believe in, or maybe some people do need to believe in God, but they can't believe in God. But God, to me, He came into my life in a way where He's like, look, I'm here. This is going to be hard. I'm going to be with you. He also tells me, like, in the long run, He's like, I know this sucks so bad, and I know you don't understand. I can't explain it to you right now, but in the long run, trust me. Trust me. Tough because we don't understand really what we are, right? And if we don't understand like our infinity, oh my God, this thing keeps falling off. So annoying. I should have worn that little gray thing, the gray beanie. Um, but he said, we are infinite beings, so it's like whatever happens to me in this secular form, my vessel on this earth, it could be terrifying and awful, but then the end of it, I go where I really am because it's above the earthly frequencies. Matt, almost meeting with those frequencies of choice that you grab at God with, but like some other. It's scientific, but we're information collected in that. Our creators aren't going to let us just disappear. Especially if there's injustice in our lives. Injustice in how we die and stuff like that. They keep track of everything that's happening, just like the bad guys do, just like the bad guys on this earth. And I hope that I'm clear on these things, that I'm not talking about the people doing this to us, that they're doing that. They're tracking information, because they're mimicking God. They're mimicking what was already natural. Our creators already do that. They got you. Our creator, our God, in the name of Jesus Christ, he's got your information. He's got your memories and everything. Even if you can't remember them, you like dissolution of memory and stuff like that, you'll meet with yourself one day. God has already planned for us kind of being interfered with. And like I said, I thought this was really funny. Like the mind is the seat of the soul, but my soul can't sit down sometimes, you know? He's already prepared for these eventualities for us, and it's just for us to reach towards them. And it may even, since the mind control is here, uh, maybe understanding some of these things will be hard because our brains are so muddled. But when you reach out with instinct, when you reach out with those things that are deeper, God will lead you there. So even if they muck up our brains, is what I found out, because they've mucked up my brain, spun me around. If I just reach for God, He'll give me the perception I need. And perception's a very important part of this. My attackers have messed with my perception. But I don't want to get off a track. I wanted to say, like, the way it happened to me at Oshner and stuff like that, there are children who they get cancer at like the age of 2 from microwave towers, from electromagnetic frequencies. Then they go into maybe like St. Jude or another hospital, right? Some of these hospitals, they're connected to intelligence agencies that want to collect data, do brain experimentation and stuff like that, right? Well, right now, when I'm talking to you, there are multiple children in multiple hospitals right now going in for a surgery for like cancer, going in for some kind of surgery on their gut, like their colon for autoimmune disorder, going in for some surgeries where the doctors plan to put a biometric, maybe in their esophagus or in their ears. If they're not at a dentist, it's not going to be in their teeth, but their colon, right? I very much suspect that I have a biometric under this, like where the sternum is on the side, but in the colon. And I felt that like years ago, but it's hard to tell when it's just directed energy running through that spot. But I'm pretty sure here and then in my sternum, I got 2 for 100%. But then I'm questionable about and then the stomach. And a little bit questionable about this, about something being on the actual clavicle. Um, but the 200%, boom, sternum, boom, colon under the sternum, like right around here, or it's over here. There's one here, and then there's one. It's like it runs down all the way through my left sternum. It's like something that's like my esophagus and stomach, using my digestive system, but then the leads hook to the actual sternum. He made the leads and hooked it up when he had my stomach open. I think, these are, I don't know how everything exactly worked, but that's the direction it went in, right? Painful and dehumanizing, right? Dehumanization has been the worst thing that I've struggled with. And, the first couple of years, I didn't feel dehumanized. I just felt rebellious. I felt rebellious and adrenalized up and very free. But then they kind of, with the remote neural manipulation, they put this Stockholm feeling on you. And that's the hardest thing to explain, because I've never been a follower. I've never been somebody that if somebody's doing something evil to me, like that I have some kind of Stockholm or give a crap about whatever they say or want, right? But they instill this kind of Stockholm. Uh, it's made me have certain feelings about the authority of this guy killing me that are not natural to me, and it's like the thing that he had to do for me to take him seriously was try and tweak the remote neural manipulation to give me a little bit of a Stockholm feeling, because he's such a weak Fabian, right? And Fabians are people that pick at people, hide in the shadows, and then when they're weak enough, then they come at you. But what tends to be happening to me is like, well, I'm not going to brag or anything, because I'm a human being going through this. But I've gotten stronger. God has given me miracles to get stronger. It still sucks. It still sucks, and there are things that it's gone on too long, right? So I'm weaker in those places, but in some places about weakening the biometrics, I'm in a better place. But I wanted to convey this message. Like I think the well, I'm only at 24 minutes, so I got a little ways to go. But in those hospitals like Oshner, I mean, since 1981 or 1993, when I went to Oshner, it's about 1992, 1993. all the kids that go in there, who's getting the biometrics put into them, there's a chasm of misunderstanding. Like I know some of you are like doctors know what they're doing and they're putting these biometrics in people and they know it's going to torture them. But how big this one in my esophagus is and how big this one like and how much power they can push through it to like really cook my body. They cooked my sternum. I woke up this morning, but it's getting better. It's getting lighter. But I have to keep on. I got to keep the upkeep on. What happens if I just took the magnets off and left it for 2 weeks? I don't know because I'm not going to try that right now. You know what I'm saying? So y'all know what I'm saying. It's one of those situations, but I just the hand of God's in it. The hand of God's in it. I trust it. He can turn anything around. Even how and I felt so they mess with your mind, so I feel like I've been totally crippled and I'm not going to get the things I want in life, and it's kind of over for me, like with the whole building a life, and I'm just gonna fight this and say what God wants me to say, and I'll probably die soon. You have those thoughts. They're really depressing. They come and go, and I don't believe that in the long run. But they're there, right? They're there. And even if we have those types of thoughts, it's like we can think that, just don't give up. God knows we're going to have those thoughts. He knows we're human and that it's so bad. He understands us. Like he understands when you're angry that you're past angry. He understands that. But I feel like he can bring a power in that's past any kind of power that he's ever given to people because of your unprecedented pain. He can match with unprecedented peace. I've experienced it. It's still not perfect. I'm like working on my relationship with God, my relationship with understanding how do I deal with this. It seems like anything you do, you're effed, right? But I wanted to convey like how many kids at Ochsner after 1993, before 1993, biometrics put in them. St. Jude, other hospitals like charity hospitals that are connected, like intelligence agencies are paying for people to get their surgeries, but you sign this thing and we can put it by, and then the children are set up to like be experimented on where they don't know about it and their families don't know about it, and it maybe kind of puts them off course or in a certain position. For me, I kind of just went through life until they started really turning the biometrics up, and I didn't even know I had biometrics in me, right? But then I got really tired and kind of isolated. Then they started the overt torture, right? How many children this is, and how many of you guys, right? And I'm not trying to say everybody, because like I think back about this. I think about this, and in the community we come in, and everybody's like, there were some people that are like, oh, they're doing that protocol where they make you think you've been targeted from birth. And I kind of got into that. I was like, nah, yeah, that's a psyop, right? That's like what happened to me. That's literally, and I can trace it back to the hospitals and the biometrics and things. It's not like based off of just nothing, like a guess, right? And I'm like, who was saying those things, and should we trust those people that are saying things like that? Because there's a lot of things that were said, and I don't want to speak badly. Robert Duncan may really think that there's no biometrics in people, but he's the one who does this stuff. He would know where it was coming from. Why would he lie about there not being biometrics? I did he not? Maybe he just doesn't know about that. So that's what it's mind-boggling how I was kind of railroaded while I was making these videos. I'm getting too much into that, I'm just try and let it go. The mind control does that to me. I'm a responsible human being, and I like to kind of go, what were my mistakes? What were my successes? So we can move forward, so we can fix this. But they kind of use that a little bit, and I kind of get obsessive. Y'all know what happens. Y'all know what happens to me and to y'all with this mind control. But I just want to say that's a massive thought, that like you could be a person that you went to a hospital as a youth, as a kid, and just needing some kind of medical attention. You get a biometric put in, you're set up, right, for later on. How many kids are they doing that now with the right? So it's not even just the biometrics in hospitals attached to intelligence agencies. intelligence agencies, the medical, military, industrial complex, if you want to say it in a less conspiratorial way. Conspiracy theories are true. They're always proven true. The ones that have like evidence and a lot of people talking about them, it's probably true. It's probably true, So anything they tell you you should not believe in and it's probably a conspiracy theory, that's the reality. And the things they're saying are hardcore science, like, you know, where you're, yeah, stuff like that. And those things are BS, completely BS, and worse weapons against us. They're weapons because we're in asymmetric. We are in the fight. We are like you hear people say, we're in the fight for the soul of humanity, and you're like, oh, not like a presidential race. Oh, we're in the fight for the soul of humanity because the way our souls work, they connect with us, and it's more of a choice. It's like you can be the most sick you've ever been, and your earthly frequencies are down, right? Low resonance and sick and depressed or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Your soul will connect with you and heal things, right? But if it's interfered with by these earthly frequencies that are low, extremely low frequency, right, that they're doing to us, we get low frequency. It's harder to connect. It is really about connecting with our souls. It's about them disconnecting us from our souls, you which is pretty hard to take. Pretty big thing. Pretty big thing. Very big thing. It's a very, very big thing. Oh man. I do. Well, what would allow? I don't know. It's just it's really tough right now. It's going better. I'm getting hit, but then making the video like this, they're gonna go, well, he's opening his big mouth again, so that's tough. So, like I said before, guys, but I just wanted to convey, like, I really wanted to convey, think about this, like how many children are being set up, and that's what happened to me, and it's like I was experimented on for a lot of my younger life, from 12 to college, and then when I got into college and was trying to like build a life and stuff, they were working on stimulating, my neck and my jaw and mind control and things that I didn't even know about for like 10 years before the targeting came over. And that was when I was trying to like get married and everything like that. And I kind of look back at those situations and I'm like, oh yeah. Oh yeah, there could have been some mind control. Could have been some manipulation there. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Oh, this is so crazy, y'all. And the dude on the B2K is just like, I'm getting bored of this. We gotta go ahead and finish it off. It sounds like there's somebody in there that's like, I didn't agree to kill anybody, and it seems like there's a problem. Like, but I'm like, well, if there's no protocol to kill me, why is this guy? Is this way more like? Because I'm picturing these people like in a contractor building that's like, they have strict protocols, but the way that this has worked, it seems like willy nilly, Wild West. If something's evil, like stretching out somebody's underwear in their place, but like then taking that kind of mentality and doing it to like mind control. We can take these biometrics that these doctors didn't even want to hurt this patient. Maybe some do, because I know some of you are out there like, the doctors know. Um, I don't think in my situation they did, but in other situations they could. I think that my doctors put these things in because they thought I was like going to be tracked, data was going to be collected. The way that they're in my digestive tract because I had Crohn's, right? It's interesting how I got Crohn's disease. I don't know how many of you want to like because I've said the details so much, but I'm finding out new things and it kind of proves things. But like when I was 10, I got my flare up, right? And it took 2 years to like kind of figure out that I had Crohn's and then to get to Oshner, right? But in that 10 to 12, my autoimmune disease, my Crohn's disease was through my whole digestive tract, through my whole esophagus, stomach, small intestines, large intestines, colon, right? It was through it all. But then after I went to Oshner, I got the feeding tubes put in, right? I had PICC lines put in here and here, PICC lines in my to like give intravenous feeding right through the artery. Um, and after that, and this is the point of it, after that, my when I did have a flare up, it was just in my colon, just in the colon, relegated to the colon. And then, like now, I find out that I have biometrics in the esophagus area, the stomach area, and maybe even the beginning of the colon or the middle of the colon right here. So, were these to regulate the autoimmune disease in my body? You know, what kind of data collection were they doing? What kind of experimentation were they doing about my Crohn's disease, right? Because I think that's what got all this started for me. Um, but yeah, so that's a weird thing how like after I went to Oshner, the Crohn's disease was everywhere before that, and then it was just relegated to the colon, and then I have these biometrics that are in the places where it was happening. So I even think at the beginning of my experimentation, the medical experimentation, involuntary, right? They were doing things that were helpful for me. Like it was helping me with puberty. I think they were stimulating the thyroid with things here. They were stimulating my thyroids maybe so that I would grow tall, and then they were maybe relegating. They were doing a certain frequency where I would not get the autoimmune disorder in my upper tract, right? So they were doing some things and seeing if they could do some things, but then it's just like after they did that, and I went to Texas, after I guess that was done or whatever, then I went to Texas. Then it started to become trauma-based mind control because they already had this stuff in me, right? So I've gone over this, but a couple more details that just are striking, and it seems like, and I'm gonna go like. I will be. I guess I'm just gonna say I don't care because I'm gonna get in trouble, and it's gonna be like they might try and kill me. Um, just and it sucks because I'm not that smart, but the way that I say things is very dangerous to them. They seem to be very concerned because I go, I know this sounds crazy, but and I'm self-aware about what I'm talking about, and that's a very worrisome thing for them. And I kind of say it in a way where people can kind of understand it. I say, you get a signal to this phone, you can get a signal to the human body because we have stuff in our body like that. You just say things kind of simply, and then you can expound, but I've kind of tried to stop doing that because I'm like, we're not even there yet. In this country, in this world, this mind control stuff has been hooked up to so many people. It's been hooked up to so many people. It's such a problem, and it's like the number one thing they're murdering people for to shut them up for. Maybe not the number one thing because they're shutting up people for human trafficking and things like that, child trafficking and things like that. But it's a thing that they want to keep undercover. I want to say this too. It's like because you see all the people voluntarily getting the biometrics like on their hand, right? In their hand so they can open their car or something like that. Well, I'll tell you definitively because of the way that my biometrics work. If somebody gets a biometric right here, that can send a signal all the way up to the brain. That can give that person a heart attack. It can make them have to poo or pee. It can make them sad. It can send signals through. It can ride the vagus nerve system. And if you guys want to know what they ride on, what these electromagnetic frequencies ride, it's the vagus nerve system. So look up the vagus nerve system. That's where the directed energy is flowing through that, right? So if they put something in my esophagus right here, you got this huge stalk on the left side of your vagal nerve system. This thing's in my esophagus. It can send a strong signal to this stalk in this vagus nerve system and send pain, make me pee or poo or have to do anything, or pain to my teeth or anywhere, right? So finding the biometrics is also like getting through all of the tricks of my attackers, and that's why it's a process. It's a long process, and I'm not getting help from doctors. But I wanted to say, like, I trying to get my energy up, but I want to go ahead. I think that we should be. Oh God, it's like you're being murdered, and I censor myself. I'm the one being murdered. This piece of dog crap that's like killing me is just feeling more and more empowered to do whatever he wants. And as I get murdered more, I feel like I'm in more and more trouble as I get murdered more. This is fucking so insane. We live in an illegitimate satanic system. I'm declaring that. I want to say this at the end, I guess I won't go into. I'll go into some other stuff on other videos, but I want to say this. Damn it, they're making me forget. This is an illegitimate system. Oh man, they made it. It was a really important point, a very important point. Um, Shoot, man, they made me forget it. So they can still mess with my head. They can still mess with my memories. They start messing with my memory when I start making a lot of videos. They'll really mess with my memory. They'll start doing it when I'm not making videos to practice, and they hadn't been working on that so much. Like when and I'm not even making that many videos, right? But see, that's what I deal. I deal with them doing stuff to the brain when I say, and I'm like, eek, because like I don't know. I'll go into some more of that stuff. I wish I could remember. I wish I could remember what I wanted to say because it was kind of important. But I'm gonna be working on stuff. I hope y'all are too. I'm working on just breaking these things and getting them down, getting the face huggers off as much as I can. I don't think I'm gonna be able to do it 100%, but with God, all things are possible, and it could just bring me to the next rung. Right? When you think about defenses, don't be like, well, this thing doesn't fix it all. And I've said this the whole time. Just get on that next rung and then see where God can take you from there, right? So this is a big rung for me to get up on. I was hoping it would just like end it, think big, shoot for the stars. Shoot for the stars, something, 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 then you'll probably hit the moon, you know? Remember that. Shoot for the stars. And even if you don't, I know the saying, but there's like this joke on a game where he says that it's like reach for the stars, and even if you don't hit them, you'll hit the moon, you'll get the moon, right? And that's always been my philosophy, and it's always worked. It's always worked with God's help. It may not turn out exactly how I wanted, or I get exactly what I wanted in my head, but God will give me what I need. He'll give me the strength I need to go through it. And I don't know why evil like this happens. I don't know. The system allows these people to hide in the shadows and do this to us. All right, guys, I'm getting to about 40 minutes. I just wanted to kind of put my head up, and say like it's going okay, but I'm not getting and I gotta keep the mags on all the time. It's frustrating, but I'm gonna keep trusting in God. I really kind of want to get out of the country, but I want to think of doing some things to fight this before I do take that step. And we've got to be. Oh, I want to say, oh man, I'm gonna have to make another video about this. I wanted to say, people in the Russian Revolution and really bad Mao Zedong's communism. Did they know what was happening to them? Were they kind of like us, and they were like, well, the media's not talking about it. I mean, are we in some? I think that we are. But my situation, I think we're in something like the Russian Revolution. But another person would be like, no, you're a conspiracy theorist. Blah blah blah. Was that the same way it was like happening in those countries when these bad things happen? I'll leave you with that negative off thought. No, God loves you. Miracles happen. Miracles happen. Sometimes we just don't see. We don't see the solution to these impossible problems. Maybe, that's. All right, well, let me stop babbling. I love you guys. I'll see you on the next one. I kind of just want to pop my head up and remark on what setting up children like that, because that's what they did to me. And there has to be tons in society, even some of you, a lot of you watching this probably, but I don't want to say like everybody. I don't want to be like, oh, this is what's happening to everybody, because it's definitely not. All right, I love you guys, and I'll see you on the next.